game itself, like the card game itself, wasn't.
Hello, is this
doing so
Project CCG? Hi, it's Matt. Can you ask Steven to grab the trophies and bring them to the room? You can grab Nicky's trophies, you can grab my you can just grab everything that's there. Or you can ask Steven to do it if he's there.
Matt, theme song. Welcome back to Locals, episode 11 here. We have, my name's Dennis, we have
Matt
and
Nicky.
Special guest Nicky here. One Piece player Nicky, Vanguard player Nicky, Wise player Nicky.
Dragon Ball player Nicky.
Dragon Ball player Nicky, that's right. Yu-Gi-Oh player Nicky.
I just love playing card games.
So today's episode, we're going to talk about the origin of Nicky, how he got here. Because everyone was once a newbie, right?
Yeah.
He's been playing card games for how long now?
I've been playing since 2013 or 2014, so over 10 years.
10 years of ongoing card games.
I actually remember my exact start date.
Yeah, exactly. The date.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Though I consider my exact start date like the first time I ever stepped into a card shop.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. It's just start date, because when you play your friends, you're not really like competitively playing, right? It's like probably the first time you step into a locals.
Yeah. So my first date was the week before the set 12 release of Vanguard.
Set 12 G?
Of normal.
Set 12. BT 12.
BT 12, yeah.
Okay, so coming up to be almost 11 years. Oh, no, 11 years then, right? 12 years. Your anniversary's coming up.
Yeah.
Your Nicky anniversary's coming up.
Yeah.
And tell us a little bit about like where it was and how you got there and like what made you go to locals to begin with, kind of thing.
So how it started was I was just a kid on the playground playing Yu-Gi-Oh. My Yu-Gi-Oh deck was probably like wrapped in a rubber band, like a slug bag. I would go to like the playground and play with the kids like on the grass. Yeah. And my friend Brandon, he told me about this game called Vanguard. And I was like, man, why would I want to play that when I got Yu-Gi-Oh? You know? And I don't know like how I got hooked, but I know for sure I started the anime, and I guess the anime like really hooked me onto it because it kind of like showed you like the life of like a card player. It showed you like showing up to a card shop, competing for locals, competing for like events and stuff. Yeah. And I thought it was really cool, and that got me looking into like card shops. Mm-hmm. And so I remember going on Yelp, on my phone, and just Google or Yelping hobby store, and just seeing like all like the different spots that would come up. Mm-hmm. And I found this one shop called Kira Kira Cards.
In where?
In Monterey Park. It was by ELAC. Uh-huh. And it was like a 2-hour walk. I was like a 13-year-old kid. I didn't have a car. Yeah. I didn't know how to take the bus. Yeah. So I walked it.
2 hours.
I walked it for like a whole year to this card shop.
2 miles.
Yeah, 2 miles. Like during the school year, I went like maybe once or twice a week. Mm-hmm. And then when the summer hit, I was a kid, had nothing better to do. I went like every day in the summer.
So the employees were annoyed of you. This dumbass kids just hanging around. They're trying to work here.
The employees were actually like Alex and Richard, and that's how.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's how we knew each other. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, and that's kind of similar to your story. You were a Yu-Gi-Oh player first too, right?
Yeah. So the first time I went to a card shop, it was for like a Yu-Gi-Oh sneak peek.
Uh-huh. So how'd you get into Vanguard? How'd that happen?
I don't exactly remember, but I'm pretty sure it was Steven.
Oh, okay.
Steven would be like, I want to buy Blaster Blade and Dragon Overlord start decks. And I was like, okay. He was like, can you learn it? And I'm like, okay.
Can you learn it? So your friend Brandon got you into Vanguard, right? Yeah. And then you watched the show a little bit, and you're like, okay, it's pretty cool. So you went. So Brandon was kind of your gateway person.
Yeah. He helped me order like a trial deck on Amazon. Mm-hmm. I ended up getting my first like deck ever was the OTT trial deck, the pink one with Sakura. What's her name?
I don't fucking remember.
I just remember
CEO Amaterasu.
I just remember it was like on play like bouncer board.
What the fuck?
Yeah. So I started with that. Went to the card shop, bought some sleeves. Yeah. And then my first deck I like built was a Schwarzschild Link Joker deck. It was
That's disgusting.
Yeah, it was like the old ride chain. It was like a really cheap budget deck.
So you went to your first locals. You paid for entry. How was your first locals?
I actually didn't play locals. Like I going to this card shop. It was a lot of the players that went were very casual, and I think that's what kind of helped me get into it. There, like the locals did go on. I just didn't, I didn't compete every week. I was a kid. I had no money.
Oh, to enter the $5 entry.
Yeah. Yeah, and so I would just like spectate or like play on the side.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you'll be the guy that's not entering the tournament, but be on the side after playing all the X4 drops.
Yeah, but I
Come over
wouldn't.
here,
But I wouldn't be there just for locals. Like I would literally be at the shop like 24/7.
Oh, okay, so they're babysitting you.
Yeah, like open to close.
Richard, Uncle Richard's babysitting you. You little kid.
yeah. And so when sometimes they were feeling nice, they would give me a ride home. I'm like, I don't have to make this 2-hour walk at like 12 o'clock at night.
Oh my god. And then I think at the time Richard is like maybe an 18-year-old, right? 19-year-old, like in college. Or
yeah,
around
like
that age.
right out of high school.
Yeah, right, high school. So yeah, they really got their cars too. Then yeah, you're walking. So when did you start being more active in the local scene?
So a year into me going to this car shop, so I started like maybe the spring of that year. So summer ends. Right when summer ends, the car shop closes down.
Oh, it's gone now.
Yeah,
Kira's closed.
They go out of business. They close down.
And he's got a refugee.
Yeah, and now I'm like, dang, where am I gonna go? And so that's when I learned like how to take a bus. That's
out of necessity.
Yeah. I'm like, dang, I have to take this bus now.
Yeah.
Because like the bus to me was like super sketchy.
We're in LA, by the way. We're not in like Japan, where like public transportation is super easy, or New York, where public transportation is like necessary.
Yeah.
Right. So most of the people here get like ride to school or whatever.
Yeah. So I'm like a 14-year-old kid, and by the way, when I'm like going to card shops, I'm bringing my backpack.
Yeah.
My backpack has all like my school books and everything. So I have like the fattest backpack on.
You didn't take out your school books out of your backpack due to locals?
At least when I was in elementary, I went from school straight to
straight to locals. Okay, gotcha.
So like back when I entered high school, when I had a locker, I was able to like leave my books and stuff in my locker. But I still had like a fat backpack.
Yeah.
Even when I didn't have books in there, I pretty much had like my whole collection or everything I
I owned
in my backpack.
Net worth is in the backpack.
Yeah, because I didn't want to leave my cards at home. I didn't tell my parents at all like what I was doing.
Oh, because he's coming home really late from school. By the way, we're a little older than these kids nowadays, or like parents don't really ask us where we're at back then.
Yeah.
Like if you get home and you're not dead, you're good. You're solid.
Yeah. So I kind of kept this hidden from them, only because I loved card games so much that I didn't want them to like take it away as a punishment.
Yeah.
I didn't want to give them that power. So I was just like, there's no way like this is ever like I'm hiding this from you guys. So like you guys can't go. They actually didn't find out until like my first
Japan trip.
I was like, all right, I'm going to Japan. They were like, why are you going to Japan? I'm like, I'm going for a card game tournament. I play card games.
The secret's out. So Kira closed down, and then what was your next stop?
My next stop was Core, actually.
Core.
Yeah, I don't remember. I think someone showed me like how to take the train.
Bro, Core from Kira is far.
Yeah.
That's like at least 12 miles.
No, but so what I would the Gold Line, the train station. The first stop is actually right next to Kira.
Yeah.
How I initially started is I would walk to Kira, that area, and just take the train. And the train stops right in front of Core.
Yeah.
So to me, the travel didn't really change.
Okay, so you're still walking to Kira.
Yeah, I'm still walking to Kira. I'm just taking the train now to Core.
Yeah.
And now to get back home, I would take the train back from Core
to Kira
and just walk home.
So I mean, like that was not walkable. You had to you were forced to take the
Yeah, at this
There's
point,
no way you're walking 12 miles.
I could not walk anywhere. And like the next like closest one was probably MTG Deals.
Yeah.
But that was like 2 miles, and the only way to get there was by bus.
Yeah. And they didn't have a big Vanguard scene.
Yeah,
it was
not
more
at all.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Magic.
Yeah, so that's how I started going to Core, and then eventually, like over time, I started like learning like the bus routes, and eventually I was like taking the bus more often. And up until I turned 18, got a car, and I told myself I never would like take public transit ever again.
Going to Core now, you're at a new scene. Your Kira people kind of disbanded, right? Like they all went to different places because like wherever they live closest next year. Yeah. So now you're at Core at a new shop, new people, new faces. Like how was that?
It was interesting. I was a kid, I was just trying to play card games. Yeah. So I was just meeting people, and I've met like my lifelong like friends, in my initial stages of like card games, I would just go play local.
So now you're playing. Now
yeah,
you're
now-
actually the $5. You have $5 to enter a tournament.
Yeah, now I'm actually just going for locals. Like I'm not going there to hang out the whole
Yeah.
day. But I actually did end up hanging out the whole day. You know? I would go to locals,
Yeah.
and I like found out there was like another tournament happening. You know, like 12 Vanguard would happen at like 12 p.m. And at 4 p.m. Yu-Gi-Oh would happen.
Okay.
And so as a kid, I'm like, all right, so does someone have a deck I can play? You know, I made some friends around,
Okay.
and so I made some friends that were willing to like just lend me a deck, and I would just play locals.
Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, and eventually I just picked up every single game that they started like hosting. You know, Force of Will, Dragon Ball. You know, when they try to do Weiss,
Yeah.
Vanguard.
So whatever came after Vanguard, you were playing.
Yeah.
'Cause you're there anyways.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then so that got me into Yu-Gi-Oh,
Yeah.
and that got me going to like their Tuesday locals, Thursday locals, because they're for a while their Tuesdays and Thursdays were free. So
Oh, yeah, okay.
So as a kid, you know, it was perfect for me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to this free locals. What a box! This is great.
Yeah. So at this point, are you already winning locals? Like you're kind of like topping every.
Yeah, I was actually started like consistently getting top 8. How they did their locals was it was like Swiss, and then they did like a cut to top 8. It was actually like super official and like I don't know.
Oh, they play top 8 out.
Yeah,
Oh,
play
wow.
top 8 out,
Okay.
and I think it was even best of 3 too.
That's
For Vanguard?
hardcore.
Yeah.
So right now, Vanguard is best of
One.
since like forever, right? For at least last 5 years, 6 years,
10 years.
10 years. Yeah, it's been best of one. So.
But yeah, at core, like for the longest time up until COVID, it was top 8 best of 3.
Wow. Okay.
Like local.
All the big names are going to core Vanguard locals because it's like competitive and you actually can get good practice in.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they had a ton of players playing. You know, I guess the amount of players kind of went up and down. You know, as Vanguard grew in
Yeah.
popularity. But yeah.
Yeah. So this is during G format.
This is at the start of Legionnaire. Is when I started going to core. So that Legionnaire is like a format right between like original Vanguard and G.
Matt, can you explain to the viewers the Vanguard history? Why there? What is G? What is V? What is D? What is base? Can you please explain the history and the monstrosity of Vanguard to the viewers?
Man, that's a loaded question.
I can try to help you.
So base series is like what, 5 years I'd say? Or I mean, you have like regular Vanguard, then you get your limit breaks for like 2 years, your break ride for 2 years, Legion for like a year. And then G comes out where they add an extra deck, and that's like 5 years. And then they were like, "Oh, this game's getting too crazy. Let's start over."
Yeah, let's reboot it.
And then we get V format for like 5 years.
Yeah.
And then they're like, "This format's kind of crazy. Let's reboot it again."
Yeah. By the way, the second reboot happened during COVID. The first happens in 2018.
So we had G and V and now in D, and if you guys didn't know, each of them has their own format. Like you can't like commingle, like Yu-Gi-Oh. Like you can't you can't choose not to exceed, right? You can do that in Yu-Gi-Oh. You can choose not to pendulum summon. You can choose not to link summon, but you can't like play that format. It's a whole format itself. Because it's own format itself, it has its own premier tournaments, right? There's a D format, a BCS. There's a V format BCS, and there's a premium format. Which is so you're not lost yet. You know, you're good for you. But,
Rest in peace, V.
So talking about like premier formats, what was your first premier event?
My first ever premiere event was It was called Grand Fest in 2017 in Long Beach, California. And yeah, I played Night Rose at that tournament, and I got third place.
Third place. Oh, your first premier tournament.
Oh, sorry, no, that was not my first premiere tournament. That was probably like my sixth event or something.
Okay, what was your first? Let's talk about your first premier event.
Oh, okay. My very first premiere event, it was a regionals in Pasadena actually, and it was. I remember what won. It was like the Bermuda deck. Like the final Bermuda set just came out of like the original format, and Bermuda just won. Novell was like the like meta deck of the format. And I was playing Great Nature, and I completely scrubbed. I went too, but it was my very like first time at a premiere event.
Kira still open or not yet? Or they closed already?
This is like the summer. So this is still the summer of Kira.
So Kira still open.
Yeah, Kira is still open.
So
yeah.
who told you about this event? Because I'm sure a lot of people, new players, I guess, that come to our shop, they don't know about YCS. They don't know about regionals unless someone introduces them. Hey, there's a regional coming up. Are you going to that? And usually they come with, what is that? And you're like, oh, it's a really big event, and then like, oh, I can take you. So
Yeah.
who was that person to like?
It was
tell you?
probably Alex and Richard. They probably told me about it because they were also working the event.
Yeah.
But they were just working as like volunteers or like judges.
Okay.
It was kind of funny. I don't think they were like with Bushiroad at the time.
Oh, okay. Oh, they volunteered for that event.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So
Yeah,
a
like,
lot of
yeah, they were just volunteers at this time. I don't remember how I got to the event. I might have just took the train or something.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't
That's
remember.
when you learn.
We're now Kira closed down.
Yeah.
We're at core now. You're topping events, and you're going to premier events. Going to that premier event where you got third place, did you know like, hey, I want to do well. I'm gonna do well because I'm the expectation's there now.
Yeah, I'm going to core, playing like all the card games, and I'm just like, I guess I'm slowly getting better.
Yeah.
Right, over the course of like all these locals, and I think by 2016 is actually when I first get confident enough in Vanguard. Even though I didn't top, I think I definitely deserved like to top.
You feel it. You can feel it inside your soul.
Yeah, so I felt it like a year before
Yeah.
my first top. So I think at this point in 2017, I like was taking the game like seriously enough. You know, it's not like I went to this tournament casually. You know, I was just like, okay, I'm trying to do well. I'm going to do well. And I did do well.
Yeah. So you got third place. Is that invite to Worlds?
No, it wasn't. They were only giving first place the invite to Worlds.
And full combination.
Yeah.
Okay.
For that year. At this point too, they removed Springfest. So every like state gets like 2 tournaments a year. One's a Springfest and one's like a singles event.
BCS, yeah.
Yeah, and so luckily, I think starting that year is when they removed Springfest and they just did 2 singles events.
2 BCSs.
Yeah. So in the autumn, that was like my second chance to get my invite for Worlds. That year, I got second.
Okay, so you went third and second.
Yeah.
Okay.
But again,
Second doesn't get you anything.
no invite to Worlds.
So getting third, that was your first top ever, right? So that was like kind of rewarding that, hey, after all this practice, all this hard work, I got it. I got like my first top, and it was third place. It's not like, it's not, I think at the time it's top 8 only, right? So even getting top 8 is pretty hard already.
Yeah.
So yeah, you got your first.
Yeah, it was like 10 rounds of Swiss, into top 8. Yeah.
Yeah, so you
super
got third.
rewarding.
So then you're like, okay, one more chance for the autumn. Run it back. I'm gonna do it, and you got second. So you lost in the finals.
Yeah, I lost in the finals. Yeah.
No Worlds invite. So going to that was 2017, you said, right?
Yeah.
So 2018, we're going to run it back again. So what's to tell us what happens next?
So Kara Expo comes along. I'm playing. This is when the game rebooted the first time.
To V.
So yeah, to V. So this is the first tournament where there's like premium and standard.
Yeah, two formats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get 9th in standard, so I bubble out of top 8. You know. Funny story about that. My badge number was the exact same number as the room number they used for top cut. And so a judge like had my badge or like that number like written down. It was like 37A. You know, it was like a specific thing, like a number with a letter.
Yeah.
And that was my I was an A block and I was like 37 or something.
So you thought you made it.
Yeah. And so when the judge like had that written down, I was like, yo, am I in top 8? Like, no. And he's like, what are you talking about? And he like looks at the note, looks at my badge. He's like,
I see the confusion. If you guys don't know the meme, Yu-Gi-Oh players can't read. That was a defining moment right there. Yeah. So that was standard. So usually they do 2 premier events. So they do standard on Saturday and then premium on Sunday. Yeah. Right. So then Sunday coming around.
Yeah. So Sunday comes in around. I'm playing this like super degenerate Darker Regular deck. It like kind of like loops your opponent and you just do like a million attacks.
Is it NLK?
Yeah, triple assassin NLK. That was a beauty of a deck. But yeah, I ended up finishing third.
Third again.
Tournament. Yeah.
So then at this point, has 2018 Worlds? 2018 BCS has a world invite for third place or not yet?
Yeah, this is the first time
year.
They're extending it to top 3.
Okay.
And so I get my invite.
Not a combination.
Yeah, not a paid invite.
Yeah.
But yeah, so just an invite. So at this time, I'm still like, I think I was like 8. I just turned 18. I'm still like a broke kid. And like I just got my car too. And I remember I started working at Blackstone.
Already?
Yeah.
2018, okay.
Yeah, around this time.
Yeah.
And I remember I was still like thinking if I wanted to go to Japan or not. Like, do I want to like spend like the 500 to 1,000 like
My whole life savings.
yeah to go to this Japan trip.
Yeah.
And I remember talking to Adam actually, Adam Cisneros, and he's like, dude, this is a lifetime, like one in a lifetime opportunity. You should just go.
Yeah.
And I was just like, all right, let's go. Yeah, I'm gonna go.
So you sold everything you had and you bought this plane ticket.
Yeah.
And then you went.
Yeah, I went and I didn't sell everything I had. Like I had a job at this time.
Yeah.
Like so.
Oh, you're pretty much you spent everything that you had.
It just wasn't financially responsible.
Of course.
To go,
Yeah.
And so so I ended up going and I did the absolute worst. I started. I think I like went 0-4. Like at this tournament. Yeah.
You spent $1,000 to go 0-4.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so that sucked, but
Yeah.
I think at this point in time, like my mental like was kind of solidified. Like I don't like nothing could like tilt me out of a game. Like someone like triple healing on me isn't gonna affect me. It's like whatever. It's like part of the game.
Yeah. Like you solidify yourself as a player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Round 1 in that tournament, I face one of my good friends. We're playing a mirror.
Yeah.
I think I get really unlucky. Like I need so how the deck works is it's NOK and you need to like rewrite itself. And so I had 3 of them at the bottom of my deck. And I was just like, yeah. I was like, all right, thanks, game. And then
these are best of ones.
Yeah, this is best
of
one.
course, Vanguard, best of ones.
And then my round 2, I ended up playing the guy that ended up winning the whole thing.
Okay.
And he quad crits me out of the game. Yeah.
Ooh, Vanguard classic.
Yeah.
Classic.
I remember I was at like 1 or 2 life.
Yeah.
And he like did his first stride and it swung. And he just flipped 4 crits on me, and I was like, "All right, I'm really out of this game."
And then the rest of the rounds are for fun, right? Because X2 don't make top 8.
Yeah, at that point, it was kind of I was jokingly saying like before the tournament, like, "Oh, let's all like go O and X, out of this tournament."
Yeah.
And I think my badge number was number 6.
Yeah.
And so I was like kind of joking, like, "Oh, 0 and 6." And so I play. I think play my round 3 and 4, and I end up like actually losing those.
Yeah.
Like because I'm still trying.
You're trying. You don't go home a disgrace to America.
And so at this point, I'm like, I'm just gonna like punt it all and like try to actually get this 0-6 record.
Yeah.
Because I'm like really out of this tournament.
Yeah.
And I'm just enjoying Japan.
Yeah. So now that's 2018, right?
Yes.
Worlds ends. Going 2019. We're running it back.
Yeah.
Trying to go back to Worlds. Trying to redeem yourself, right?
Yeah.
So tell us where we're at now.
2018 ends.
Actually, real quick, which is the wrestling one?
Oh, we're getting there.
We're getting there.
One.
Okay.
So 2019 just starts. By the way, that Worlds happened in January of 2019.
Okay, because it's 2018 season, but 2019 Worlds happens.
Yeah.
It happens. The Worlds 2018 happens in 2019.
Yeah.
Beginning. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is the first year they implement back the Springfest season.
Yeah.
So now 3v3s are back, and I'm just like, man, I don't want to
One
play
less chance to go to
3v3.
Worlds.
Yeah. And so play the 3v3 season. I think I ended up making top 8 with my team, but we ended up losing out of top 8. That one doesn't matter too much.
It's for funsies.
Yeah, there's no Worlds involved or anything. We go to the autumn season.
Yeah, BCS.
So we're back to like the end of 2019. This is the first time I'm ever traveling for an event. Actually, this is the first time I ever fly out. So I go to Texas.
Fly out for BCS, not for Worlds, right?
Yeah,
for BCS.
Yeah, for a BCS. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
And so I ended up flying to that BCS and scrubbed out of standard. Standard sucks.
Yeah.
And I get second place in premium. And again, only first place gets the sponsored invite.
Oh, but you got invited to go.
Yeah. So I got second. I was like, yes, let's go.
Right.
I want to go back to Worlds,
Yeah.
because I had such a good time the first time.
Yeah.
And I actually ended up booking my trip before the event in Cali happens.
Yeah.
And so the event in Cali happens. That's Cara Expo 2019.
Yeah. In where?
In
Anaheim.
it was Anaheim.
Anaheim,
Yeah. And this tournament, oh my gosh, they were being super obnoxious with like where they were putting everything. Like so, it was like a whole like anime convention, right?
Did you go that year?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it was all in like one room.
Yeah.
Like I don't know why they didn't want to separate any of this.
Yeah.
So all in one room, there's like an anime concert happening.
Yeah.
There's a wrestling
match.
rink going on, and there's like a bunch of like food vendors like everything you can think of that
Yeah.
like is at an anime convention is in this one room at the same time as this tournament. You know,
Yeah.
we're all just sitting there playing cards
Yeah.
next to like a concert, a wrestling ring, and all this other stuff.
Trying to concentrate, and you see someone getting body slammed the next door to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like what's even worse about it is like there's speakers that so like when they like announce the rounds or like time in the round or anything. For some reason, they decided to put the speakers right next to top tables. So in top tables, you literally just can't hear your opponent. Or like I'm screaming at my opponent, like just like do the pass,
Drive track.
And so that at the end of this event, my voice is just completely gone.
Yeah.
Because I'm just screaming at my opponents.
Yeah.
Because they can't hear me.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the my first win actually.
Oh, you won that one?
Yeah.
For standard or for premium?
It was for premium.
Premium. Okay. So now you have your flights accommodated.
Yeah.
So what happens with that? Since you booked your flight already, they just reimbursed you?
Yeah, because I booked my flight, they ended up reimbursing me, and
Yeah.
that was I had to jump through so many like hoops just for that.
You already booked it, and like it's kind of backtracking for what some of you did already. Right?
Yeah, and so I had to like get like a routing number and have them like
Wire you the money.
wire
Yeah, it's
me
this whole
money.
thing, right?
Yeah, and
so-
it was just a pain.
Yeah, so you won while a wrestling match was happening. If you're questioning why is a wrestling match happening, it's because Bouchard owns I think the wrestling like WWE equivalent
Yeah.
of wrestling over there, New World Japan.
Yeah.
That's what it's called. Yeah. So the owner, the CEO of Bouchard just loves wrestling, so he bought a wrestling team for himself for his own self interest.
Yeah.
So that's why there's wrestling match happening there, and there's anime. So Bouchard has multiple animes. They have not only Vanguard, like Bang Dream and all those
Live.
Love Live and all those DJ Forge You,
Yeah.
all those mobile games.
Yeah.
So Bouchard is not just a Vanguard and Weiss. They have multiple IPs and stuff like that. So Care Expo is all that combined to one place.
Yeah.
So
And you know what's crazy? That's not even their first like time they're doing it. You know, because Grand Fest was basically Cara Expo, but just named differently. And then the year after, the one where I got third, that was also a Cara Expo. That was their first Cara Expo. And I remember at that time there was also a concert happening, but this time it was like at the end of like or on the other side of the room, so I
okay.
could like see it happening.
Yeah.
But I couldn't really. It
Hear
wasn't
it.
blasting in my
Yeah, yeah,
ears.
yeah.
But I could see like all like the people with their glow sticks, you know, doing this. It was actually so hilarious, like playing my match and then like looking to the right and just seeing that.
yeah. So do you remember your Care Expo experience?
I actually went to both Care Expos.
Yeah.
He's describing this perfectly.
Yeah.
It's
So
just,
you were also yelling at your opponent?
no, I wasn't at top tables.
Oh, yeah.
But it's worse because the back tables is right next to the wrestling ring. I was like right there.
You feel the sweat?
I can like feel the thuds when they hit the ground.
That's crazy. So yeah, you would think that they would separate, but like, you know,
It was right in the middle of the room.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. So then now we're at 2019. You got your first place, and then we're going to Worlds, right? And that's 2020.
Yeah, January of 2020.
So right before the virus.
Yeah, the vid, yeah.
So how is that Worlds experience now? Now running it back, your second time going to Worlds.
Yeah, running it back, I felt super confident. I didn't say I created this deck, but I was the one to like popularize this Dark Regular deck. Again, I was playing this Dark Regulars again. It was like the same deck I played the year before, but just without this one card without Assassin. But it was still a crazy deck, and I think this was the first year they took away best of 3 in top 8 of Worlds. And I don't know why. Like that just makes no sense to me. Like
So during the Cure Expo and the BCSs right before that, they're all best of 1s and top 8 with best of 3s, right?
no, actually it was just best of that whole season changed. So in 2019, that's when top 8 wasn't best of 3 anymore.
Oh, okay. So the whole season,
So
Swiss and Top Coat were both
yeah,
best of 1s.
starting in 2019.
Okay, so before that though, before it was best of 1s Swiss, and then top 8 was
Best of 3.
Okay, so when we were running tournaments here, people were asking what do we do, and what we end up doing is that we just match whatever BCS does because that's high practice, right?
Yeah.
And time rules too. We match time rules. So because in the real major events, you're playing that way, but everyone likes best of 3s. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
So they got rid of best of 3s.
Yeah, they got rid of best of 3s, and I was just like, why? I was just frustrated with Boucher Road and their decisions.
Yeah.
I thought it made no sense whatsoever. Like they're just trying to like save money, come back on time, and like get us out of the venue, which is fair, but you know, it sucks for us. you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, that I went undefeated in Swiss actually.
In the world. Okay,
at
so you're,
Worlds.
yeah,
Yes. Yeah, I went 6-0. I'm number 60. Yeah, and I ended up playing Simon Zhang in top 8. He ends up winning the whole thing. But yeah, he just collapsed me in like our one game in top 8, and like that's it.
now we're we're kind of more solidified now, right? 'Cause, you got back to Worlds, was really hard, real hard by itself already, and then you went undefeated in Swiss, right? You didn't complete the mission of not going first place again, but you got there, and now like I'm not a loser in the world's eyes, right? Because then you didn't scrub out.
Yeah.
So now as 2020 happens, and everyone knows happened 2020, the virus happened, and Vanguard kind of just fell off. Right. Yeah. Unfortunately, I think we were talking in the car when we were going to one of the expos, and you're like, if it wasn't for that, Vanguard would have been one of the top 3 games in your opinion.
Yeah,
it's really strong in your opinion.
I think Vanguard honestly, I feel like if they didn't reboot the game and they just kept trying to support like the one game and the one format, I feel like it would have been thriving. But they decided to like divide all the players, and I feel like that just kind of made it uneasy for people to like want to keep playing the game.
Yeah. So then D happened during the virus, and then at this point you're not playing anymore, or you're still playing a little bit, right?
Yeah, playing a little bit.
Springfest.
Yeah, I hate playing online. I need to play in person. I want to see my opponent. I need to see like it all on the table. It's I don't know why it's so much harder for me to play card games like with the screen in front of me, and like looking at my table and at the screen. There's so much to like look at. But yeah, so I completely stopped playing card games in COVID. I was kind of a degenerate. I was playing like TFT at home, playing like League. When Valorant came out, I was playing a ton of Valorant.
So then now 2022. We got the first Springfest coming back, right?
Yeah.
I think we had to wear a mask. I think you won that event. That's Springfest, right? With Brian and Eric, right?
Yeah.
So you won that event. Now you're like, oh, I'm back, boys. So then going to BCS, knowing that you did well in Springfest, how was that?
So at this point, I kind of dropped the game. I was like all into Yu-Gi-Oh at this point.
Oh yes, that's right. Yeah.
So Tier Limits just came out in Yu-Gi-Oh, and by the way, between all of like my achievements in Vanguard, between all of that time, I was playing Yu-Gi-Oh and all the other card games at the same time. The same time I was playing Yu-Gi-Oh, Dragon Ball, and Force of Will. So I kept up with Yu-Gi-Oh. So at this point, I actually think I was like a pretty decent Yu-Gi-Oh player.
But no accomplishments yet, right?
Yeah, with no accomplishments, but I think I played the game like pretty well and pretty like strategically. But so yeah, Tier Limit format was like actually like the most fun time playing card games like ever. Tier Limits was so fun.
Yeah. So at this time, between Springfest and BCS, you got top 32 at 200th YCS, right?
No, not the 200. Just it was just YCS.
YCS Anaheim or something. One of the
Pasadena.
Yeah,
it was with
Tier Limits.
Shuji just came out.
Yeah.
And I got top 32, lost in top 32, but it's, to me, honestly, it's like one of my most favorite achievements. Only because of how hard Yu-Gi-Oh is. I think Yu-Gi-Oh is such a hard game, so I really put that top 32 like actually like on top of like a lot of my achievements because of how hard Yu-Gi-Oh is.
Along your time span playing all the great games, card games, you are attending to regionals for Yu-Gi-Oh as well. So you just know nothing to show for those.
I had one top actually. So after the third place in 2017, right before I got second at the BCS, I got third at a regional.
Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yu-Gi-Oh regional.
Okay, So at this point, they already know you for multi-game Nicky.
Yeah.
And then also Dragon Ball too. You were also in one of the well-known teams in Dragon Ball. Right?
The dudes.
The dudes,
DBZ dudes.
So then you had some accomplishments there too, right?
Yeah, I got like top 8 at like.
Oh, okay.
At a Dragon Ball like tournament in between all those two.
Okay, so now we're at BCS 2022.
Yeah.
Right?
So that Tier Limit format YCS that happened in November. Right, the Vanguard tournament happened in December. So I was like all into Yu-Gi-Oh. When coming to this Vanguard tournament, I feel like I was not prepared at all.
Okay.
Because I wasn't playing at all. So I only spent like maybe like 2 weeks preparing for this BCS. So I get to this BCS and I am just making mistakes. I'm not prepared at all. And I think I ended up getting 10th actually, which is kind of wild because I felt like I completely sucked.
So now we're 2022 is done. No worlds this time, right?
Yeah.
No
didn't make
worlds.
top 8. Yeah.
And 2023 happens. What happens now?
Well, lucky for me, I didn't go to Worlds, but Worlds actually happened in LA.
Yes.
So Worlds came to me. Even
Yeah.
so that was great.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I kind of felt like I went to Worlds anyway because I got to hang out with like
All the world's people you would hang out anyways.
Yeah, so that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
2023 One Piece comes out.
Yes.
And I completely dropped Vanguard.
Yeah.
It was like the perfect transition into
Yeah.
like another card game
Yeah.
because I was like already not playing like Vanguard as much.
Mm-hmm.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Tier limits just got hit and Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah.
wasn't as fun. Cash Tira format was a really, really cancerous format.
Yeah.
And so it was like the perfect transition to One
Yeah.
Piece.
Yeah.
And that's how we started.
Yeah. So 2023, Nicky started working for us right now. We're vending shows. It's not like he said, he's not playing Vanguard, so he's vending the Vanguard now. He's on the other side of the table, cashing deals and stuff like that. And 2023, One Piece happens, and then you didn't go to you didn't start playing like OPO1. You think you played like OPO2, right?
I played OPO1, but I couldn't get into
into
a
anything,
single event in OPO1.
Yeah, that's right.
Events would cap, but they wouldn't do like a wait list for some reason.
Yeah.
So yeah, you just could not get into like OPO1 tournaments unless you were there to sign up like when the signups happened.
So then your first OP regionals was Chicago.
No, that was my second one actually.
Second one. What was the first one?
Yeah, my first one was in Arlington, Texas.
Arlington. Okay, how was that?
Yeah, that was really cool. I was playing Red Green Law, and this was my first event ever. And this was also an event where I was playing a very unique list.
Mm-hmm.
I was playing Red Green Law without like the main searcher, the Nami searcher,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of people probably thought I was crazy and still think I'm crazy for that
Yeah.
one. I ended up getting third.
Yeah, third place.
I got
Oh,
third
okay,
place in
nice,
that
nice.
tournament.
Yeah.
And that felt amazing. Like
Yeah.
topping with like a homebrew type of deck.
Yeah.
And just doing all like that was a boost.
So now you solidified yourself as a good player in One Piece, right?
Yeah.
Because then not everyone gets top 8, and then the Luffy at the time, and so it was going crazy prices. So then now you fly to you feel confident to go travel to events, right?
So I this is the
story. This is how it all stemmed.
yeah. So I booked this Peoria trip, right? And going to if you guys don't know, going to Peoria is actually crazy expensive. I think I ended up spending like over $1,000 like on like my flight alone.
Yeah.
And at this point, like I just spent like $1,000 like just to play a tournament.
Yeah.
You know, it was just crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm like hitting up Dennis. I'm like, this trip is a little expensive. Do you want to sponsor me?
Right, and this is like the night of. It was Friday night, like at like 9 p.m. And I'm like, let me get back to you. And then I'm like, I'm looking at the pricing, like real quick, like how much everything costs. I asked Adam, how much can he make? And everything that like if he wins this whole thing or he top 8 or top 32, where's the equilibrium break 0, right?
Yeah.
That's 0. And then at the time, like there's not much time, and then I'm like, fuck it, let's run it. and then Peoria is 3 hours ahead of LA, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm waking up at 7 a.m. or 8 a.m. and he texts me, I just lost round 1. And I'm like, oh, now there's $1,000.
So I lose my round 1, and I'm kind of like freaking out. Like this is like my first event ever. I just got sponsored, and I just lost my round 1. Oh my! I was like, oh my god! Like no way this is happening right now.
And not only we're sponsoring Nicky, but he's also an employee too, right? He's like, oh man, I'm getting fired tomorrow. Yeah. So then, and then I'm like, oh, whatever, dude. It's sunk cost, right? So I'm back to sleep, and I woke up at around like 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock, and now it's 3 o'clock at Chicago time. Yeah. And now you're like, oh, I want last 4 matches, right? And then because I don't want to keep asking for updates, right? So then whatever. And then in the end, what happens?
And so I'm like, I'm just playing each round like as you know the tournament goes by, and I'm like really hoping the whole time like the pair down doesn't lose, like the round doesn't get cut, because if round gets cut, I'm screwed.
Yeah,
like,
you're cooked. Yeah.
Even if I stay X1, I'm not getting top 8 because there's gonna be more than 8
Like 9
players.
X1s, and you're the lowest X1 because you lost first round.
Yeah, and I'm just like, please don't cut around. Like, let's just play all the rounds out, please.
Yeah.
And also I did not realize that there was no top cut.
So in Arlington, there was Top Cut, and
Like play it out. Talk what you mean?
Yeah,
Like,
so they had Top 32 and they played it out.
Oh, okay.
And so in my head, I was actually I didn't find out until round 1 that there was no Top Cut.
Yeah.
And I was actually like kind of mad. I was like, dude, like how is there no Top Cut? There was literally Top Cut like
Every tournament, yeah.
last month.
Yeah.
And what was funnier is that the organizer running the tournament was called Top Cut Events. And so I was just like, what the heck? Like, how's there no Top Cut?
Swiss Cut events. Swiss Cut events.
Yeah, there's no way I just spent $1,000 to play Swiss.
And then, like we said in multiple episodes of a podcast, One Piece ends at like 7 p.m.
Yeah.
Right. So you're paying $1,000 to like play 7 hours of a tournament. Like so local, dude. But okay, continue.
Yeah, so I ended up winning out, and yeah, I finished X1 and I end like 6th. Like, luckily there's no round cut, so I make top 8. I get my serial Luffy.
Yeah.
And I see that the person that won the event was the person I lost to round 1.
Oh, he carried you. Crazy. Yeah, you squeezed in right there. Because first place carried you.
Yeah. And I actually met that guy at the Texas Nats this last year. We ended up playing round 1.
Yeah.
And it was so funny. Like I didn't recognize him because he had a mask on.
Yeah.
And when he told me like, oh, we played before.
Yeah.
And when I was like, oh, like where could we have played? Like it could be anywhere, right?
Yeah.
And when he said Peoria, I immediately knew like, oh, this guy.
He cooked me.
Yeah. Shout out to Den Lee.
So who won the rematch?
He ended up winning.
Same old.
Yeah. And what was funny, I was like, hey, let's repeat what we did last time. You go undefeated in Swiss, I win out. Let's do this.
So he got 7th or 6th or 7th in Chicago or Peoria, right? And he comes back, and then now we're not in the negative, right? We're like, okay, we made pretty good money. I think at the time, going top 8, he gets about like 10K in like cash pricing, like value, right?
Yeah.
Because the Luffy was about 5K,
cards.
and then the Zoro was about 5K. So we're like 10K, right?
Yeah.
So we're in the green because like the flight's 1,000, and then now we're like, hey, you guys want to do it? You want to do it again?
Yeah.
And then that's where like the contract happened, and now we're a sponsored player. Which one was one where Kyle topped?
Kyle.
That was Pasadena.
Oh yeah,
right?
he got top cut in Pasadena with
Pasadena,
Whitebeard.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you topped that one too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he topped Pasadena, and then Kyle. I never met Kyle before. He walked in the door. It's like, oh, he just topped 8 too. I'm like, oh, cool. And then Nicky hit me. I was like, hey, I think we should give Kyle a deal. And I'm like, because Nicky is like well accomplished, right? Like I know him from Vanguard, I know him from Dragon Ball, I know him from Yu-Gi-Oh! Topping. I had no clue I do Kyle is, right? Like this guy just maybe one off, right? Like,
Yeah.
So I took Nicky's word for it, and I was not sure, should we pick another guy? Because I can barely afford this guy. And Nicky was like, yeah, let's give him a chance. Let's give him like a small deal and then see where he goes. And then that's why he topped
Yeah, he topped Virginia.
Yeah.
But then he
he
ended
won-
up winning
he
Santa
won
Clara.
Santa Clara, yeah. So then that's from there, like, okay, this networking out of just Nicky worked out, and then just where the team started from. So Kyle and Nicky, Nicky was the first guy, and then Kyle the first guy after Nicky. So so big shout out to Nicky for making this team happen, and from
Thank
there,
you,
we got sponsorship from Pyramid and all the people. These guys, they tell me a story about Utrecht. Like Utrecht, you're walking down Utrecht.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, like with all the Italians.
Yeah.
Going to Utrecht this last year, it was really cool to see like how big of a fans like the Italians were, because we are also like big fans of them too. So we're just both like fangirling over each other.
Yeah. So these guys walk down the aisle and like, oh my God, it's ProjectCCG. It was crazy. Like, we never thought it would be like this way. We're like, oh, everyone on the team was doing so great, right? I just thought, we'll top here and there and win some money back. And in the end of the day, I understand that a lot of these players are, financially not able to afford flights and like that. So I give them a chance to travel and try their best in events. And they did more than try their best. They won. They won like almost every event they went to, and it's kind of crazy. And so we picked up Kyle. He won Santa Clara. And we picked up Jerry. He won Texas.
Yeah.
We picked up Sammy. He won some online event. We picked up Adam. He
Pasadena.
Pasadena, and then. Everyone won one except for Nicky. So Jerry won 2 before he won. So even base lolly Alex, he got first place in Swiss, right? So like it's kind of crazy, like all these first place events. And so Nicky coming into Pasadena. What was Pasadena? No,
San Diego.
San Diego. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So tell us a little about that. San Diego.
So San Diego rolls around, just another event.
Yeah.
I get invited to this Halloween party in Northridge.
Yes.
I really want to go to this party.
Yeah, yeah.
And like I'm a very determined person.
Yeah.
Like if I want to do something, I'm gonna get it done.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I finished the Saturday Saturday Swiss, right? Swiss. Shane and I are planning on both going to this party. We made this like deal beforehand, like whoever tops the other person drives.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I ended up getting a top 32. He ends up driving us to San Diego. From San Diego to Northridge.
Yeah.
By the way, it's like 3 hours away.
Yeah.
Past my house,
Yeah, yeah.
Goes to this party it up until like 5 a.m.
Yeah.
We end up leaving Northridge at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
Shane's driving, and
Yeah.
I stay awake the whole time.
Yeah.
Like with Shane.
Yeah.
We drive from San Diego back to
Northridge back to
San Diego.
Yeah, San Diego, yeah.
Go back to our hotel. By the way, we did not sleep in our hotel.
Jerry had the room to himself.
Yeah. So I use the hotel to like shower up, clean up, walk down to the event. My good friend Raf, he's judging the event. He's giving me Red Bulls every hour or so, and I'm like chugging Red Bulls, and I play the round, the top cutout, and I end up winning the whole thing.
Yeah. So then,
crazy.
all your matchups were favorable too, right?
My top 4 and top 2 were like super favorable,
Yeah.
but I think leading up to it, it was definitely. It wasn't like free.
Yeah, it was still challenging. So this guy ran on like no sleep. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. And the whole story of them like leaving leaving Saturday to go to Northridge on Sunday was kind of crazy because then they were taking the train and then they found their keys and they got keys from the car from the house. Yeah, so it was a mission to get to this party. It was like everyone was telling him not to go to this party. This actually event I went to because I was playing One Piece now, right? I was trying to be more active in One Piece. I think it was Dylan and Dylan Bryan. It's like, he knows this party, right? And I'm like, yeah. Like, you're okay with that? I'm like, I guess. What do you want me to do? And Dylan's like, damn, bro, like you're so nice. And I think this is after you got Liverpool, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, it's okay. He did well in Liverpool. It's okay. I'll give him on this one.
So what were you thinking in this?
I mean,
moment?
I because you did well Liverpool already. Like you did your year's worth of job already, right? Like, and I always tell you guys, hey, you're sponsor, but no pressure. Like if you guys don't do well, it's fine. Like that's what sponsorship is. I'm not trying to hear like, why aren't you top? Like, go practice more.
Yeah. Like doing well is like their job.
Yeah. So like to me, I'm really lax on on the sponsorship. And I don't want to make you guys feel pressure because it's already hard. The game's already hard by itself. So when Dylan and Brian told me that, I'm like, oh, I mean, like, it's whatever, And Nicky will be Nicky, and he'll do well. So, he already made top 32, right? So, like, what else is there to be? I mean, I would love for you not to do that, but, it is what it is, and you end up winning. So,
you mean it worked.
You made it work, yeah. So it worked. Maybe he should go party every time. Yeah. So, I mean, but yeah, so he ended up winning his first event after, like, so many events, and now he's on the board with the other boys. And,
I finally got to kind of break my nickname. So like for the longest time, so it kind of carried over to One Piece because I didn't get a win for the longest.
Yeah.
And same in Vanguard, right?
Yeah.
Like both stories kind of are somewhat similar.
Yeah.
But for the longest time, I had this nickname was Nicky Bronzeman or Nicky Silverman because I could never get first. I always got like third or second, but never first.
Yeah.
One of my good friends, Pete, he would always say like I was the bridesmaid because I never could be the bride, and be the one. So it was really nice to be able to finally break that nickname.
Yeah, so it's a big sigh of relief for you after winning that event. But obviously we want more, right? So going to the national seasons, he was kind of like all in to do well. And Texas happened. And it was unfortunate events.
Yeah, I ended up shitting the bed a little bit.
So Texas, and then he went to Utrecht and Orlando and Mexico. Yeah. And then they're all like O2 drops.
Yeah.
So
I didn't drop. It was just,
sure.
It was starting off O2, and then I ended up playing the tournament out.
So where do you see yourself with One Piece now?
I definitely am gonna try to take a step back. Not like I'm gonna quit the game or anything. More so, I'm gonna, I guess, take the game a little less seriously, just because it'd be a little better on my mental health.
Yeah.
When I do have times like this where I do where I do poorly, it won't. I feel like it won't affect me as much, like in the future.
Yeah.
I feel like the only reason why these accomplishments affected me so much is because of the amount of time I put in.
Yeah.
I put in an absurd amount of time. Like
Yeah.
I was playing every single day. And that it probably kind of caused me to do so bad because of how burnt out I got, out of the game. So right now I'm just gonna take a break, take a step back, and just kind of go back to treating card games as a hobby, and going back to like playing different card games too, as well. So I won't just be playing One Piece. This weekend I'm playing Ultraman.
Ultraman.
Yeah, with my friend Chris. So.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, so I mean, the pressure's gone to a certain extent where he got his first regional win, and it's a lot if you're practicing that much and there's nothing to show for it. It kind of sucks. So yeah, I think the pressure is definitely gone until like maybe the national season again, where like, oh, you gotta take it. I want to go to Worlds. It's the next step. That's pretty much the history of Nicky, right? From 2013 to 2025.
Yeah.
Going to 2025. So if you were to rank them, how would you rank each of them?
Like the years or
the accomplishments?
Ooh, that's tough. I think how I would rank them. I don't know exactly how what the rank is, but I would rank them based off like the decks at the time and how I like played them, or like which ones were my favorite decks. So definitely those first two One Piece events are definitely like up there. So any of the tournaments where I had like I guess my own sort of like homebrew type of deck.
Okay.
So that one, the first two Vanguard events, I felt like I kind of came up with this deck and like. Came at this tournament with like a completely like new idea. So it was those two, my first two like Vanguard tops, and then I guess in the middle of all that, my one Yu-Gi-Oh top, my top 32. Yeah.
Where do you see the state of One Piece right now?
Dude, I think One Piece is great right now. I think
it's good.
I think it's going well, and I don't see it ending anytime soon. And like unless Bandai decides to reboot the game,
my favorite.
One Piece Fusion.
Two Piece.
Two Piece. But you think it's going strong? The pricing is still good, and everything's.
Like the market might fluctuate. It might be really low right now, but it's like any other economy. It goes up and down. But I think the game itself, it's thriving. I think One Piece as an IP is thriving. And I could even see it getting better as like the ending of One Piece comes out, or like as like more content gets like put out there. Like for example, like the Netflix
season
like
2.
live action, or like the new anime there, because
they're
like,
reboot the anime.
Yeah, they're rebooting the anime. Yeah. It's just not. Don't do it to us.
You think the game itself is healthy too? Mechanically, it's healthy.
Yeah. I wouldn't say it's too degenerate. I think. Right now, they might be taking a little too long to like come out with a ban list, but I would say it's not the worst. Like I think like the most degenerate we've seen it was Sakazuki, and that was just like a ditch and draw type of effect. I feel like in other games, like the effects are even crazier.
Yeah.
So I think One Piece is definitely like tame with like its power creep and how bad like cards are like right now.
All right, so we're gonna wrap this up here. Matt brought all the trophies that Nicky has.
So this one right here is my first ever, my first accomplishment, my third place at Grand Festival.
In Long Beach.
Yeah, in Long Beach.
Okay.
Yeah. So I got third. This is
So
what I
actually,
got.
real quick, he messaged me one day, Dennis, I'm cleaning my room. Can I put these somewhere? And he was like, what is this? Is all his trophies, his medals, his paper certificates? Like, bro, I can't put it anywhere. So I put the trophies. So these are all on the shelf out in the front of the shop. If you guys are coming through our shop, you see all Nicky's and Matt's trophies too.
Yeah, and this is my second place one.
They look exactly the same.
Yeah.
What's your first place one?
They didn't give a first place one. They gave a medallion.
For that one, medallion.
Yeah, like one you like can wear around your neck. Yeah.
I swear every year they just downgrade.
Yeah, and so this is what.
This is my third place trophy.
Oh.
Yeah, this is nice.
Here's his and here's mine. Look at him.
And then I think we'll show your first place trophy next week.
Yeah, it's worse than that one.
Yeah, worse than this one?
It's worse than this
Worse than
one.
this one? Yeah.
It's worse than this one? How did they make it worse?
It just keeps getting worse.
They changed it to this, right? They changed it to something like this?
No. It looks like this, but it's not even like a Vanguard card.
Yeah.
It's the Bushy Road Girl.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So, this is second place and then third place, is that right? Third place, second place.
Third place, second place. I don't know why third place is bigger than second.
Is it bigger?
This same season?
Yeah.
Same season.
Wait, is it?
Yeah, they're same season, 2017.
Yeah, those are the trophies, guys. So hope you guys enjoyed, the history of Nicky Goldman here. Definitely one of the most respected person here at card game players in the, here at ProjectCCG and like in the nation. Putting ProjectCCG on the map for One Piece and all these card games here. Even when we go to Bend, Vanguard, and everyone's like, "You're not playing today? You're not playing today?" We're like, "No, I'm bending today." And so it's kind of crazy, like how that's when I first bended with Nicky, and I realized how popular Nicky is. It's kind of crazy. And even in Grand Archive, you're probably popular in Grand Archive now. We're known for like the rolling table, where we're rolling for tickets at Grand Archive tables.
Yeah, just gambling the whole
Time.
event.
Even the devs came over and gambled with us a little bit. So yeah, Nicky, very charming, very well spoken, very respected in the community. Anyone last words you want to say, Nicky?
Thank you, Dennis.
No, thank you.
I really couldn't be here without Project.
Yeah.
ProjectCCG. Like, I wouldn't be able to go to all these events if you didn't take that leap of faith.
Yeah.
In that first Peoria event.
Yeah. It's actually pretty funny too, because you said you worked at Blackstone earlier. A little backstory of Blackstone. They actually closed down due to personal things. Hopefully everyone's okay over there. But Adam and Nicky were like Blackstone's like key members. Adam hit me up. It's like, "Hey, do you guys have openings at Project G? Like, I'm like Blackstone's closing down." And I've always gave Blackstone so much respect that I never poached Adam from Blackstone, because that's how much respect I have for Benny and Blackstone's team. And then when Adam hit me up, I'm like, "Yeah, of course you can come through. How about Nicky?" And like, "Oh, you can hit up Nicky, see if he wants to come through." And and Nicky said, "Yeah, I'll come through." And that's how we picked up the refugees of Blackstone. So so thank you, Nicky, so much for coming through, and you put us on the map.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. All right, guys. See you next one. Let us know down below if you have any questions. Follow us, give us a subscribe, and see you next one. Bye.
Yeah. Honestly,
You can raise it, yeah.
No, that's pretty good.
I think you are gonna need to raise it. Like, honestly,
Should I do that?
you know what? Let me just make sure this shows up. Okay.
I can't even lock mine. You're just like, what was it, in your thighs?
Yeah, or it's like in between my crotch right now.